need to update the delivery management plan, and therefore what I think we should, what officers will recommend is delegate it to myself to...
Or produced by the independent consultants, I think the firms in Shinfield, which said they looked at the 4 particular options, and the report that we saw said that that was not an option available to us. It's not with, we have to remember, Rochelle, that whilst Wokingham Housing is wholly owned by the council, we're acting here as a local planning authority. We're not acting we're not in a position to instruct Wokingham Housing what they should and should not do.
We do
have a valid application in front of us, and as I said in the preamble at the start, it is not our role to redesign applications. It's our role to determine what's here. If you put a proposal forward to refuse that and it gets support, so be it. But I think we need to wait until we get to that point. Mary, could you just give us a little bit more of a steer on this in terms of
certain location and not go through these certain side roads and things like that?
Right.
That's all I'm requesting, is to
let's
change
just
that.
get a response from Clare. What prevents us from trying to change that?
Chairman, we feel from the applicant, as you've stated, that they don't feel that that's an alternative position equal to a refusal, essentially, in practice.
They just don't want to do it, is the whole thing.
Anyway, John, you want to go back?
Yes, I would. I mean,
They just don't want to. They're saying that
Right. Well, firstly, obviously, Rochelle, you were making a proposal. I think we're being advised by Clare that that's not something that they can do. So
I will personally vote against it then, because I believe that this is inadequate for the local residents, and it would cause damage to the streets and to their amenity.
So if there's no alternative proposal coming forward, we're going to have to put the recommendation that's in front of us to vote. On that basis, regardless of the outcome of that vote, would it be the committee's wish that as chairman I write to the applicant, encouraging them to ensure that developments that come forward in the future address these issues more wisely? We can't really address this one as it stands now, but so that we learn from this and hopefully get improved applications in the future. I should do that, but that's not part of the formal decision. So members, I see no one else indicating that they wish to speak. So we have an application that we considered in April. I was corrected, I thought it was May, in April, which further work has been done on. Other options have been considered, and for whatever reasons, but we've been told that they're not achievable. I certainly thought the photographs that Prue showed were very interesting, since they were taken during the day, and that none of the spaces were in use, which did seem to be somewhat contradictory with what we're being advised. But we have to make a decision on what is in front of us, and there isn't an alternative proposal. So for all those members wishing to support that application, F 2014-2611, please indicate that they're prepared to support it. So that is approved by 6 votes, and you'll be against rather than favour. That planning application is approved. This is very similar to some other applications we had last month. It results in an intensification of the existing, within the existing boundaries, so it's not an extension of boundaries. It will provide for 2 additional pitches, which allows us as a council to defend applications on other sites which we may consider less appropriate. And finally, it allows us to ensure, through condition, that the units should be used for occupation, housing, or gypsies and travellers, not other members of the community. Because, as you know, many of these sites are sites where members of the regular community would not be able to secure planning permission. And therefore, it's a form of improving use or intensifying use of the site without impacting on the surrounding area, because it remains within the current boundaries, and it gives the council improved levels of control because of the better conditions that have been applied, unlike the original planning commission granted on appeal by a planning inspector. Okay, so members, I'm putting that to the vote. We have this application in front of us, which is up for recommendation. We previously visited the adjacent sites and we're very familiar with the location, and what we're trying to achieve here is much the same as we did with 2 applications last month. So please indicate that you're willing to support. And that's unanimous, so that's approved. Thank you. And we now move on to the Balcombe Nurseries site. Okay. Which is an outline application. Some members attended a site visit on Friday morning last week. We weren't able to gain access to the site, but we were able to see the site quite clearly from the main gates. We viewed the site with regard to the traffic flow on the main road there, the visibility on the bend, and I think we were able to form a clear opinion on that. Jenny, I think this is going to be you as well. The land really permanently owned and secured by 106, but this would still form part of the curtilage of the properties?
No, again, that's a discussion that's been had with the agent. I believe that it's going to remain as a private open space, but the idea being that you can keep that open and you can get the ecological enhancements. Certainly it's not a discussion I've had with the agent as to whether there's going to be public access.
No, I just wanted clarity. I wasn't expecting there to be. It's just the way you talked about it being permanently open. I just need to understand that, but I'm talking about space. Okay, so we have John Anderson from Swanfield Parish Council. Good evening.
Good evening.
I think you know the procedure.
I do. I've been here before, in slightly different circumstances. Okay. Right. Well, really just to say that Swallowfield Parish Council strongly supports this application and backs the planning officer's very thorough and well-reasoned report and the recommendation that goes with it. Perhaps I could just highlight some of the undesirable aspects of the garden centre fallback and why it is more genuine today than perhaps it was 16 years ago when the planning inspectors were worried about such matters. They thought the situation was finely balanced, but clearly the market for the garden centre has increased with the SDLs and such that are being put up and around the borough. So I think that there's more of a market for garden centre retail activities. The kind of garden centre that could be built there would be developed to the maximum extent possible, so it would occupy the whole site. And also, I think it would turn into very much a retail sort of style operation, as many garden centres are these days. That's a far cry from the original plant nursery, which was what was on the site sort of some 50 years ago. It's not a good location for that kind of operation, in our view. It's a 7-day-a-week activity. There are a number of residential properties surrounding it. So it would be severely harmful to the immunity of those residents. We know that there are flooding issues on this site, with water runoff principally, which runs off onto Basingstoke Road. And we're concerned that the garden centre permission has no mitigation for a flood of that sort. And so all the additional hard surface areas impermeable could cause serious problems and would be a bit of a disaster if it ever got implemented in full. On the other hand, this proposal here, as you see with the balancing pond, has some mitigation for that. It was developed with a professionally prepared flood risk assessment and has had input from the Swallowfield Flood Resilience Group. We acknowledge that that will need to be modified, if only because it was based on a rather different scheme to the one that's proposed here, a more elaborate scheme in fact. I think the garden centre would be very much less sustainable both from a transport and ecology point of view. We've heard about the ecological enhancement, but also bear in mind that the site is out on a bit of a limb for a sales location. So it would generate longer journeys for customers to the site in one year compared to something near a designated retail area or the SDLs themselves. I think it's clear that this is a totally unique and one-off situation. so it's not going to be imitated. It's an exceptional circumstance. The site is an eyesore. The Borough Council has spent a great deal of time and resources defending several full-blown and lengthy appeals. It's got overwhelming support from local people, and we very much hope that the committee will approve the application in line with the planning officer's recommendation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. Can I now ask Garth Pearce as a resident? Good evening. You just press the grey button. The light comes on.
I shall be mercifully brief. For once, this is one application on which everyone agrees. We're all on the same side. First of all, well done, Jennifer Seaman. That's a fantastic report. You covered every detail that I could think of, and others that I couldn't. What's different this time around? We've had some terrible evidence on this toxic site, and we've had to come before you in the past to plead that you reject various plans, mad and wild and ruinous for our lives. You've always backed us. 3 of the applications went to public inquiry. Each time it's found in favour of Woking Borough Council. Very expensive. You've backed us all the way. Great advert for democracy. This time around, a owner took over called Darrell Evans and his planning consultant, Graham Simkin. And they involved the residents in the village and the parish from the moment they took over. They contacted us by email, had meetings, listened to our concerns about the site. And this was, I'm not an expert on localism, but what I read, this was localism at its very best. And I do pay tribute to him tonight for doing that. The alternative, which the parish chairman has just referred to, is this industrial site masquerading as a garden centre. I won't go over the detail, but there's just one aspect of it which you alluded to, and that's the flooding risk. There is a car park of concrete and tarmac with 102 spaces proposed there. Now that's more spaces than our local Aldi and a Lidl store put together. And if you're a posher shopper here in Wokingham, it's as big as the one at Waitrose. The fall away from floodwater into the residence properties and the main road would be a disaster. I just want to be very brief. I just wanted to make a brief tribute to an next door neighbour, Robin Allison, who for many years provided us with a website called Balkan Watch. And during very depressing, despairing years, this was